Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, settle in, and let's spend today with something the mind consistently treats as a problem. And that turns out, on closer examination, to be one of life's more essential gifts. Most people spend a significant portion of their energy trying to know what cannot yet be known. Whether a relationship will last, whether a decision will turn out to be right, whether this particular direction will lead somewhere worth going. The questions arrive naturally, and the desire for answers is entirely human. What tends to be less examined is what happens to a life that makes certainty a precondition for movement, that insists on knowing before acting, on guarantees before trusting, on proof before committing to anything that might not work out. The uncomfortable reality is that most of what has genuinely mattered in most people's lives arrived from exactly the uncertain territory the demand for certainty was designed to avoid. Think about this honestly. You did not know, when you met the people who became most important to you, that they would become important. You did not know, when you took the turns that shaped your life most significantly, that those turns would lead anywhere worth going. You did not know which conversations would stay with you for decades, which experiences would change something fundamental, which chapters would matter most. At the time of their arriving, all of those things lived inside the unknown. And looking back across them, you would not trade a single one of the surprises for the comfort of having known in advance. This is worth sitting with carefully. The most meaningful parts of most lives were not planned. They emerged from exactly the uncertainty that felt, in the moment of facing it, like a problem requiring urgent resolution. The Taoists understood uncertainty not as a flaw in the design of life, but as one of its essential features, the quality that makes genuine discovery possible. Imagine reading a book in which you already knew every plot development, every character arc, every surprise before it arrived. At first this might seem appealing, no anxiety about how things turn out, but something crucial would be absent. The quality of genuine encounter, the experience of finding out, the particular aliveness that comes from not knowing what comes next and staying present anyway. A life from which all uncertainty had been eliminated would be a life from which all discovery had been eliminated. The knowing and the finding out are not the same experience. Certainty forecloses the second. A traveler stood at a crossroads, frustrated because there was no sign telling him where each path would lead. An old man passing by observed his frustration and asked, "If you already knew where every road ended, would you ever leave home?" The traveler went quiet, because he recognized, in the question, something true. The unknown is not only what makes movement uncertain, it is what makes movement meaningful. The destination only becomes the destination because you did not know what you would find there. The discovery only becomes discovery because it was genuinely open before it arrived. The Buddhist teaching on this distinguishes between two responses to uncertainty that produce entirely different experiences of a life. The first is the demand for certainty, the insistence that answers arrive before engagement is possible, that the path be fully visible before the first step is taken, that the outcome be guaranteed before the investment is made. This response generates a specific and consistent kind of suffering. The suffering of a person perpetually suspended at the edge of what they want, unable to enter it because the conditions they have set cannot be met. Life does not provide advance guarantees, not for relationships, not for meaningful work, not for any of the things that require genuine vulnerability to access. The second response is curiosity, the willingness to move toward what is not yet known with something closer to genuine interest than to dread. Not naive confidence that everything will work out perfectly, simply the recognition that not knowing how it will unfold is the condition, not the problem. There is a quality the Zen tradition describes as don't know mind, not ignorance, not confusion, but the deliberate and practiced willingness to hold questions open without rushing to close them. The student who can say, "I don't know yet," genuinely, without treating the not knowing as a failure or an emergency, is practicing a sophisticated form of honesty that most people find extremely difficult. The capacity to remain curious in the face of uncertainty, rather than immediately reaching for the nearest available answer, is the capacity to actually encounter what is there, rather than confirming what was already believed. Think about what uncertainty actually contains, rather than only what it threatens. Every friendship that has mattered lived in uncertainty before it became a friendship. Every direction that turned out to be right was uncertain before you moved in it. Every surprise that changed something for the better was made possible by the fact that the future had not yet been determined. The unknown is not only the space where bad things might arrive. It is the space where anything is still possible, including things that are better than anything you could have planned for yourself. As we close today, I want to leave you with a question worth carrying with genuine curiosity rather than as a problem to be solved. What uncertainty are you currently treating as an obstacle to living? A relationship whose outcome cannot be guaranteed. A direction whose destination is not yet visible. A future that refuses to clarify itself on your preferred schedule. And what would change in the quality of your daily experience, in your willingness to move, if you approach that uncertainty with curiosity rather than with the demand that it resolve itself before you continue? The future is not a problem to solve, it is a mystery to live. And some of the most important things waiting inside it are waiting precisely because they could not have been predicted. Leave them room to arrive. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, be well.